These giant machines can build anything and also destroy everything with just one wrong move. Hard to believe? Let WowTech show you right now! A bumper carrot harvest pushed the tractors to their limits, and in the end, exhaustion was simply unavoidable. This show of strength turned out to be the final act for the Ford 8000 tractor. While trying to pull 40,100 pounds, the axle snapped and the tire slipped clean off the brake rim. Absent-minded driver or a deliberate attempt to clean the truck bed. Either way, this method is far too costly and dangerously reckless.
Hey, stop! No!
A roof frame covered with tarp combined with a windy day, and suddenly it turns into a giant kite strong enough to pull down an entire crane. Using the right lifting equipment for the right load is a key principle and the best way to prevent serious accidents and costly damage. Imagine seeing a wind turbine for the first time up close, but unfortunately, it's the moment when it's engulfed in flames. The rescue was almost a success, but a misjudgment of the brake condition of the steep terrain turned all efforts into nothing. At least it didn't plunge into the pit. There's still a chance to try again. In cases where it's impossible to retract the crane during strong winds or a storm, the safe measure is to release the brakes and let the boom move freely, reducing the risk of unexpected breaks or collapses. The driver thought the way ahead was clear, but the rear told a different story. The truck got stuck under the roof, tearing through the trailer before finally breaking free.
Hung up. You ain't killed. You're about to back into it.
Pop off.
Missed colliding with the barge, but the ship carrying 357 containers didn't stop there. It plowed straight into a bridge pier, causing a crane to collapse and damaging several containers on board. In June 2018, instead of making history, the Momo F2 rocket became known for the Momo 2 launch failure. The cause was traced back to a malfunction in its reaction control system, the RCS. From a worker's trusted companion, it suddenly turned into a raging beast once it went out of control. At this moment, only a true brave operator would dare to step in and tame it. The train car didn't tip over. It was just emptying the dirt on its own and finding itself a new resting spot. Instead of dismantling it piece by piece, they tried to speed things up by lifting all 4 sections at once, and yes, it was faster, but only at breaking it up. An uneven, overloaded lift caused the hydraulic arm to snap and the truck bed to collapse. But the real root of it all was the driver's simple mistake, forgetting to open the truck bed first. When it comes to heavy lifting, the margin for error is practically zero. Just one small miscalculation while moving the steel mold nearly brought the entire crane system crashing down.
How much you pay for the new guy? $20? No, too much money. He's no good operator.
That truck driver might not be a troublemaker, but he was just trying to prove that this barrier isn't really that safe and probably needs a replacement. Guess how this cargo ship planned to avoid the Guangdong Bridge? It didn't, because the drunk captain decided to sail straight into it. And, believe it or not, before that, with a blood alcohol level 3 times the legal limit, he had already crashed into a yacht at Busan Harbor. From the cab view, the collision on the railway looks truly terrifying. It serves as a powerful reminder for everyone to stay alert and prevent such accidents from happening again. If you ever spot a tanker leaking a cloud of orange-brown smoke, get away immediately. It could be carrying nitric acid, which is highly corrosive and poses a serious explosion risk. The firefighter rushed in to save the day, but one sharp turn later, he became the next victim himself. Don't breathe a sigh of relief just yet. These heavy machines aren't nearly agile enough to dodge situations like this. A chemical reaction occurred inside the tank. So, should they have used a specialized tanker or simply cleaned it thoroughly before loading another material? For many crane operators, transporting steel plates is always a nightmare task. What they really need is better equipment and a safer, more efficient control position. The bridge under construction across the Ganges River had to come to an abrupt halt when a concrete pillar lost balance and fell into the river during transport. Fortunately, aside from the pillar and the truck, no injuries were reported. Flames engulfed the truck, yet the driver recklessly steered it away from the residential area. Still, rather than taking such a risk, it's always better to have proper fire safety equipment on board. At the port of Açu in Brazil, a massive crane collapsed into the sea during operation. If you're worried about the operator, rest assured he managed to escape safely. When working along the shoreline, truck drivers must be especially cautious. Just a small ground collapse can lead to a serious accident in an instant. Your excavator's on fire? Don't worry, your clever coworker just saved your livelihood in the nick of time. The warning lights were flashing and the train was almost there, yet the tractor driver still chose to take the risk. He got lucky this time, but it's a powerful reminder: always respect the traffic signals.
Hello, Mr. George. How much you pay for the new guy? $20? No, too much money. It's no good. It's no.
When drilling a well and hitting a high-pressure water layer, the first thing to do is back away, because it's not just the equipment at risk, but also anyone standing nearby. Just one wrong lever pull by an inexperienced operator caused the winch to freefall, triggering a disastrous domino effect among the cranes. A support beam on the coal barge suddenly collapsed, sending a large amount of coal and even a bulldozer straight into the sea. The gas turbine is finally in place, just not in one piece anymore. These explosions can easily occur if even a small amount of water or moisture comes into contact with molten steel. Pay close attention to the overhead power lines, a clear safety hazard that's often overlooked on job sites. High pressure built up as they pumped cement into the tank, but the relief valve failed, causing the entire load to erupt out in a powerful burst. A small crack or an unusual noise can be the first sign of a serious problem. Regular maintenance is the key to preventing risks and keeping workers safe. Before crashing down on the 40th floor, this ill-fated crane had accidentally pummeled the building across the street, a stark reminder of how dangerous construction work can be in the heart of a crowded city. A reckless overtake without paying attention to speed or vehicle height from this semi-truck driver became a powerful lesson for workers operating on active roadways. Always set up proper barriers and warning signs to create a safe working zone. Fortunately, the worker's safety gear saved him this time. Don't be too quick to blame faulty equipment or an overloaded haul. First, make sure you're standing in a safe spot. The forklift says, "This load's too heavy for me, boss. You'll have to start over without me." Too many deliveries await, and that truck just couldn't spare even a single second to wait for the gate to open. Hey, Mr. Crane, don't do me like that. I don't like being pushed around. Amid the thick cloud of dust, it's like flying a plane while blindfolded, and that's exactly what led to the Taliban military helicopter crashing into the mountain. Sir, our car washing system doesn't just make your vehicle shine like new, it might even give you a brand new one. Operating a giant machine has never been easy. The driver's stubborn push forward couldn't overcome the massive rock wedged under the tracks, and it sent the Hitachi EX 1900 tumbling down. Witnesses at the scene say that shortly after the crane's rear wheel flew off, it began to tip severely and then collapsed. Anyone here an expert? Share your theory with us below. This is exactly why, in the metallurgical industry, containers must be completely dried before use. Even the slightest moisture or impurity can lead to a serious accident. Operators of heavy machinery should always remember the importance of wearing their seat belts. The construction ground was too weak to bear the nearly 25-ton weight of the concrete mixer truck, causing it to sink. Even more dangerous, if this incident hadn't occurred, that same weak foundation could have seriously compromised the project's quality and safety. A single rock and a stomp on the brakes not only failed to save the situation, but they actually made everything worse. Improper pulling techniques and incorrect hook points not only failed to save the vehicle, but they also caused more damage. Modern torpedoes are equipped with safety systems that prevent them from arming too close to the launching vessel. That's why no one panics, even when a shot is missed. Before getting to work, always make sure you're standing in a safe position. And especially with chain lift trucks, never raise the bed too high or the hooks might slip straight out. This is called a boilover, a phenomenon that occurs when bitumen comes into contact with water or residual moisture left inside the tank. Always remember to open the air vent valve when draining liquids, otherwise you might end up with the tanker truck crushed by vacuum pressure. Perhaps they underestimated the sheer weight of the combine harvester, because those thin ropes were never meant to hold something that heavy. When the customer asks, "Where's my shipment?" the captain just smiles and shows them this video. In aviation, ground resonance is a phenomenon where a helicopter vibrates violently while on the ground due to the rotor blades and fuselage moving out of sync, which can be destructive enough to damage the aircraft. The CNC machine in an Indian workshop experienced a sudden malfunction. Even though the operator was ready to hit the emergency stop button, he couldn't prevent fragments from flying out. Not long ago, a crane from a building under construction collapsed after being shaken by a powerful 8.2 magnitude earthquake in Thailand. A 20-ton excavator has been lifted. Just how powerful must the water pressure be here? A sudden collision between the Japanese Coast Guard patrol vessels Dewa and Riboon. A full combo of warehouse safety violations, forks not lowered, speeding, and finishing it off with a sharp turn. Overloading or failing to slow down at a curve. Both are costly mistakes that drivers often pay a heavy price for. One of the two cables snapped while the excavator was being lowered. Now, there's a new challenge: rescuing the excavator itself. The driver only meant to reverse slightly to adjust the steering angle, but didn't brake hard enough, sending the vehicle straight into the ditch. The result? A dramatic escape that could have ended much worse. A lightning strike is far more dangerous for a rocket than an airplane due to the massive amount of fuel it carries. A sharp turn forced the yacht to fall onto the ground before it could even be launched into the water. The truck, mixer, and excavator were all being pulled across the construction site with chains, but the mistake? They mount the chain straight to the excavator's arm. Farming on steep slopes is always risky. Just a moment of inattention and a misaligned disc plow can send the entire tractor tumbling. After 4 successful launches, the 5th one of Antares at Wallops Island on October 28, 2014, ended in failure. As a result, the Antares 100 version, with its first stage engine designed by Aerojet, was retired. When the order was for a convertible, but the factory sent a hardtop. And the trucker said, "No problem, I'll take care of it." The U.S. Marine Corps CH-53E Super Stallion helicopter was being towed onto a ship. Hauling a 15-ton flying beast isn't easy, and although the operation didn't fully succeed, fortunately, the damage was minimal. Just a moment of distraction or a wrong judgment can lead to significant damage. These rapid dismantling methods are fast, but they can be costly when it comes to repairing the machinery afterward. Without a camera, no one would believe it. They transported an excavator without securing it properly at all. To test a wide-body jet engine, they attached small explosive to the blade to simulate fatigue failure. The engine passes if it can prevent debris from puncturing the fuselage or wing. An unexpected incident between two containers occurred as a forklift and a truck passed by each other. Fortunately, they only fell and no one was injured. A question arises about the driver's state of mind. Is he trying to escape recklessly, or is this deliberate sabotage? In this case, it was just a poorly maintained tire, but it could easily have caused a sudden accident. A miscalculation in transporting an oversized steel frame caused it to topple onto a worker. Luckily, a colleague spotted it in time and rescued him. Rollers don't know how to swim, so there's no chance to test another transport method here. A broken spring while the vehicle is moving can destroy the wheels and undercarriage. It's a reminder that even small components can pose serious risks. You might think their towing method looks odd and risky, but they're actually doing it intentionally to dismantle a non-operational T-130. In this case, it's hard to say whether to call it lucky that the building remained unharmed or unlucky that the crane got damaged. A costly lesson on the importance of calculating load, planning lifting procedures, and anticipating risks when handling heavy lifting operations. Danger is always lurking, so follow safety rules to protect yourself, and don't forget to give this video at WowTech a like, subscribe, and leave a comment on what content you want to see next.